Hello friends, in last lecture we discussed about the command area, then types of command areas, relation between duty, delta and base period, then factors affecting duty, methods to improve duty and consumptive use of water and their Penman method. So today we are going to discuss the topic as assessment of irrigation water. So the assessment of irrigation water means these are the charges levied for the construction, operation and maintenance of irrigation facilities based on water supplied. This is called as assessment of irrigation water. So there are various methods of assessment of irrigation water. First is the volumetric assessment. Second one is assessment on area basis. Third one is assessment on seasonal basis. Fourth is the composite rate. And fifth method of assessment of irrigation water is permanent assessment. So let's see one by one. First is the volumetric assessment. This is one of the best method of economical use of water in the field, which prevents the over irrigation by farmers because they know the fact that the charges are laid on the supply of water. In this method, the charges are laid on the actual volume of water supply at the outlet head. And for this purpose, to measure that volume, the water meters are installed at outlets in a canal system. But some disadvantages in this method are the irrigator at the tail end or last end receives less water as compared to the first one, but he has to pay the same charges. So this is the one main advantage over this volumetric assessment method. There may be a tender of cultivators to draw supply as a charges in unauthorized manner. As this assessment requires as it requires water meter at various outlets, the initial cost get increased and it is very difficult to do the volumetric distribution and dues between the various users. The flow of silt as well as debris may retard flow through the metered outlet. Second method is assessment on area basis. So in India, this type of assessment is generally adopted, and in this method, the charges are levied on the actual area which is under irrigation, not laid on the actual volume of water supply. The charges are applied on the actual area which is under irrigation, and these charges are fixed crop wise. The various points on which this assessment is made are the cash value of crops and its payable capacity, water requirement by crop, time and demand of irrigation water. This method has a few disadvantages. as the charges are levied on the actual area basis and not on the actual quantity of water used, because it leads to the wasteful use of water, and this type of irrigation encourages the intensive irrigation rather than the extensive irrigation. Next method is assessment on seasonal basis. So in this type of assessment, the assessment is based on the kind of crop grown in that area in a crop seasons. Depends upon crop seasons. This assessment is done based on the different kinds of crops which are grown in that area. Next is composite rate basis. In this type of assessment, the combined land revenue and tax are levied on the cultivators or farmers. So these both the taxes, combined land revenue and tax, both are applied on farmers or cultivators, and this type of assessment is not normally used in practice. Next method is permanent assessment. This is called as betterment levy assessment also. In this type of assessment, the farmers are levied at a fixed rate every year, irrespective of the fact whether they used canal water or not. So in this type of method, or in this type of assessment, the charges are levied at a fixed rate every year, whether they used canal water or not, and it is assessed only in that areas where the canals are provided as insurance against drought. Okay. Next point is difference between assessment of water revenue on area basis versus volumetric basis. So here is the difference which shows two methods of assessment of irrigation water, that is area basis and volumetric basis. So let's see that. First is the in area basis, the charges are laid on the area actually irrigated, and in volumetric basis, the charges are laid on the measurement of discharge entering to field. Means the charges are laid on the measurement of actual volume of water used at the canal outlet in volumetric basis, and in area basis the charges are laid on the area actually irrigated. Second point is the discharge measuring devices are not required in area basis because the charges are laid on area, and in volumetric basis there is a requirement of discharge measuring devices, or discharge measuring devices are required in volumetric basis because in volumetric basis the total quantity of water, actual volume of water to be at the outlet head is to be laid. Third point is in area basis, it may lead to excess use and wastage of water, and in volumetric basis no such type of wastage is made in this volumetric basis because the farmers know that the charges are on the actual volume of water used, Therefore, no such type of wastages are made here. Then fourth point is skilled staff is not required. So the charges are laid on area directly. That's why the skilled staff is not required in area basis. But in volumetric basis, the qualified skilled staff must be required here. And next point is initial cost is less in area basis. So in area basis, the initial cost becomes less as compared to volumetric basis rate. And in volumetric basis, the cost is high. Initial cost is high because due to installation of water measuring instrument or water meters are installed, and due to this the cost becomes high in volumetric assessment method. And last point is maintenance is not required. In area basis, the maintenance is not required, and in volumetric basis, the frequent maintenance is required to maintain the device water measuring devices. Thank you. Hope all of you understand this video. Thank you.